I didn't go to that party looking for trouble. I went because my wife asked me to. Because that's what you do when you're married. You show up, you smile, you support each other. Even when you're tired, even when it's not your scene. My name is Evan Caldwell. I'm 38. I've been married to Marissa for 9 years. Long enough to know when something feels off, and long enough to ignore it anyway. The party was for her company, one of those upscale rooftop things downtown. String lights, loud music, overpriced drinks, people pretending to laugh at jokes they didn't find funny. I wore the blazer she picked out for me. She barely noticed. The moment we walked in, she was already scanning the room. Posture straight, smile sharp, like she'd flipped a switch. Work Marissa, confident, untouchable. At first, things were fine. I stood beside her, hand on her back, nodding along to conversations about projects I didn't understand. She introduced me as my husband Evan, but the way she said it felt light, like a footnote. Then my friend Colin showed up. We'd known each other since college. Same engineering program, same dumb jokes. He was one of the few people there I felt comfortable around. That's when it started. Colin asked how married life was treating me. Before I could answer, Marissa laughed. Not a soft laugh, a sharp one. "Oh, Evan?" she said, raising her glass. "He's basically retired at home. Mr. Predictable. Same routine every day. Same stories." She looked at Colin like she was performing. If excitement were a job, he'd be unemployed. People laughed. Not loudly, but enough. Enough to sting. I smiled. I always smile. I made a joke back, something self-deprecating, something safe. That's my role. Don't rock the boat. But inside, something tightened. Colin looked uncomfortable. He tried to change the subject. Marissa didn't let him. She kept going. Little comments. "He still uses a flip phone. Can you believe it?" I don't, but I didn't correct her. Evan hates change. That's why I handle all the big decisions. Another laugh, another sip. I wasn't embarrassed. Not exactly. I was minimized, reduced, like I was being slowly erased in real time. Then her boss showed up. Grant Holloway, mid-40s, loud confidence, perfect teeth. The kind of guy who claps people on the shoulder a second too hard. Marissa lit up when she saw him. The way she used to look at me years ago. She touched his arm when she spoke, leaned in close. I noticed because I was standing right there. Grant cracked a joke about deadlines. Marissa laughed harder than she had all night. He asked her about an after-party, some private thing a few blocks away. I watched her eyes flick toward me, then away. "That sounds amazing," she said. No hesitation. She turned to me like she'd just remembered I existed. "You don't mind, right?" she asked. Not really a question. "It's mostly work people." I did mind, but I said, "It's fine," because that's what I do. She kissed my cheek, quick, distracted, grabbed her coat. "I'll text you," she said. Then she and Grant walked off together, laughing, already in their own world. I stood there holding 2 empty glasses. Colin didn't say anything at first. Neither did I. The music felt louder, the city lights harsher. Finally, he said, "That wasn't cool." I shrugged. "She's just joking." He looked at me like he didn't believe that, like he saw something I'd been refusing to. I left soon after. Took the elevator down alone. The ride felt longer than it should have. When I got home, the apartment was silent. I sat on the edge of the bed still wearing that blazer, the one she picked. I didn't check my phone. I didn't need to. I already knew there wouldn't be a message. I replayed the night over and over. The laughter, the looks, the way she walked away without a second thought. It wasn't about jealousy. It wasn't even about Grant. It was about respect, or the lack of it. She didn't just leave the party. She left me standing there, publicly diminished, like that was acceptable. She came home after 2 in the morning. I was still awake. She smelled like perfume and alcohol. She kicked off her shoes and said, "You're still up?" Like I was the strange one. I asked how the after party was. She shrugged. "Fun. You should loosen up sometime." That was it. No apology, no explanation, just dismissal. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse her of anything. I just said, "You embarrassed me tonight." She rolled her eyes. "God, Evan, you're too sensitive. It was a joke." Then she went to bed. I stayed on the couch, watching the ceiling, feeling something settle into place. Not anger, not sadness, clarity. I realized this wasn't a one-off. It was a pattern. The jokes, the dismissiveness, the way she spoke about me like I wasn't in the room, like I wasn't worth defending. The next morning, I made coffee like usual. She scrolled on her phone. I told her I needed space. She laughed again. "From what?" she asked. I didn't answer. I packed a bag, not dramatically, just enough for a few days. She finally looked up when I reached the door. "You're being ridiculous," she said. Maybe. Or maybe I just stopped accepting disrespect as humor. I didn't slam the door. I didn't make threats. I just left. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel small. I felt quiet, steady, like I'd finally heard myself think.